Hey guys, how are you? Joe Lenhart here to talk a little leadership with you here again today. I've been a little bit excited this morning. I've been a little bit passionate about a couple of quick points or quick topics that normally I would talk about quite often. It's generally something that I coach to when I'm in a mentoring situation. Or maybe you can go back to one of my larger teams where we had such a large team that we had a lot of leadership opportunities that had been created. A powerful thing, by the way, for any culture when you have that kind of hope going on. And so one of the things that would often happen to me as a leader is that some of our younger leaders would come to me and say, hey, listen, I want to get into leadership. What do I need to do? Or I want to apply for this position and get into the interview process. I wonder if you could give me some tips, some coaching that's going to help me to be more successful in the process. And I thought about that this morning a lot because I generally always start with the same theme. I really do. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, I would always ask the person in front of me, and I ask you today, frankly, if I were interviewing you for a leadership role in our company, I would probably ask you right from the jump, tell me about your leadership philosophy. And I'm going to be really interested how you answer that because so often candidates will just pontificate and diarrhea of the mouth until they get to that place they feel comfortable with their answer. I want you as a candidate for leadership to be short and succinct and confident, knowing from your heart, from your core, what your leadership philosophy is. So sometimes people might say, well, can you give me an example? Or Joe, what is your leadership philosophy? And so before this video, I just quickly jotted out one sentence. And I always encourage people, if you're going to create a leadership philosophy, to me, it's like a company mission statement. It's short and sweet and to the point. I want that leader who's interviewing me to remember my philosophy when I leave. And so here's what I wrote. I believe in a people-first philosophy whereby I can influence and encourage people every single day. Period. End of sentence. That's my leadership philosophy. And while simple, powerful. Powerful. And so think about that after this video, especially if you're making the climb right now in the corporate world or you're getting into an interview process for a great leadership position. Think about your leadership philosophy and share that with confidence and pride, right? The second thing I share a lot of times with a young leader or a leader in our organization who wants to grow with us is I will say, tell me about some of the stories you would like to share. I know a lot of interviewers are going to say, tell me your strengths and your weaknesses. Explain to me your why. How can you make us better? How can you help us to grow? What are your weaknesses? These are a lot of basic questions, right? But I might be curious to know about examples of where your leadership has been put into action, tested, has paid dividends, right? And so a lot of times I will say to a candidate, always have this imaginary file in your hand. And in this file, I want to throw in examples rather, where I've rippled across the company. I took initiative to do something special that really caused ripples across different departments. I want to give examples of where maybe I put something into place and it made a real difference in our production or our outcomes. Maybe I found a problem, I created a solution, and I tracked the results. That's a great story to tell, right? And so what I want to do today is encourage you to create as many of those stories that you put in the file that you can remember, quick recall, in an interview process that you can share with people. Now, I love those stories when I'm involved in something like that, where I can talk about how I made a difference in coaching people. Maybe I increased someone's level of production. Maybe I pulled someone out of a rut. Who knows what the example might be? Those are some of my favorite stories to tell. So, as you grow, as you compete, right? Leadership philosophy. Can you explain it? Do you have a foundation to stand on? Number two, have you created stories to tell that are going to stick with a company and an interviewer? Food for thought today, my friends. Listen, I encourage you to get out there and compete. Always be climbing. Always stay competitive. And great things are going to happen for you. But you got to keep swinging. You got to keep swinging. Okay? Have a great day. I'll see you next time.